We're back at it and messy as ever. I could have used a blow dryer to dry up what I feel are sips of my coffee, but I'm just trying to get back in this YouTube game, so here we are. This video is part one of a 3-part video series for vetting your dating partners. In this video, I help you determine if your dating partner is who they say they are. This video helps you transition from being a stranger with someone to deciding to make them a casual dating partner. By the way, don't forget to like this video if it is at all helpful to you. It will allow YouTube to recommend it to other people who could benefit from it. Vetting is defined as making a careful and critical examination of something. And in my opinion, it should be the primary initial goal for women in the dating process. And to be clear, I am referring to cis heteronormative relationships in this video. For men, the initial primary goal is getting as many women as possible to want to spend time with them, go on dates with them, sleep with them. For a woman, if a man is hanging out with you or if he is continuing to take you on dates and spend time with you, then he is likely already determined that he would be interested in sleeping with you. So as a woman, when you're dating men, then you are not so much having to focus on getting a bunch of men who want to sleep with you, but instead you are looking at, is this a good fit for me and what I'm looking for? And as I said, this is the first of a 3-part series. So in this particular video, it's simply about determining, is this person a liar or not? And a liar in terms of the basic things that they are telling you about their life, the beginning things that you would get to know about someone. And the next 2 videos, they will be about how you transition someone from a casual dating partner to decide that they're more of an exclusive dating partner, because you're vetting to see if your dating goals are in alignment. Are they looking for a serious relationship? Are they looking for a fling? Things like that. And then the 3rd video talks about making someone an exclusive dating partner to a committed relationship partner, because that is where you are vetting for having similar values or life philosophies or life goals. For a lot of women, they think that the goal is to get as many men interested in spending time with them or taking them out on a date as possible. And absolutely, dating is very much a numbers game. So you obviously need people who are interested in being out with you or spending time with you. But the reality is that if a guy is interested in spending time with you and is taking you out on dates, then he is likely attracted to you, which means he is determined that he is interested in sleeping with you and potentially interested in seeing if he'd like to commit to you. Operative word being potentially. Women often make the mistake of thinking that because a guy is interested in giving her his attention or time, that he is then also interested in potentially committing. That is not the case. Do not mistake a man's attention and interest in you as the same as him wanting to commit to you. Simply because he is spending his time and energy with and on you does not indicate that he is interested in committing to you. It indicates that he is interested in being around you and that he's attracted to you and that he's likely interested in sleeping with you, at the very least. The idea of forming a committed relationship beyond that is left up to a number of factors, and that is what this video series is intended to help you figure out. Now, if your dating goal is to have a committed relationship, then if a man is interested in you and wanting to spend time with you, but doesn't want to take you out on dates, your vetting process should start and end here, because this can go nowhere that you want it to go. If the guy is not interested in actually going out and getting to know you and having experiences with you, then he's really not doing any of his own quality vetting about whether you would be a good potential partner to commit to. And if you're looking for a commitment ultimately, then you want to be aware of the fact that the person that you are giving your time and energy to isn't really looking for that right now, or at least not with you. So if the guy is continuing to want to spend time with you, but is not making efforts to actually go out and do things as well, and I want to be clear, dates in the house are perfectly fine as well. Everyone needs to determine at what point they are comfortable with those type of dates. But my point here is, if the person is interested in spending time with you and seeing you, but they're not interested in going out and doing activities and things together at some point, then they likely want to just sleep with you. And I'd like to take a moment here to state a maybe unpopular opinion among a lot of women, which is to say, he's not wrong for wanting to do this. What I mean by this is, His dating goal at the time may be to have casual flings or to have casual sex. There is nothing wrong with having that desire. It is about being honest about that desire. And it's great if people are upfront about their dating intentions and dating goals, but it's also our own responsibility for the protection of ourselves to vet people, to ask questions, and to consider various things in order to help determine if this person is aligned with the things that I am also looking for. So this video is just a little bit about things to pay attention to or to notice when meeting someone new. Someone who you know nothing about, and so they are a stranger to you, and you are simply trying to determine if you should give them your time and energy at all. This video is inspired by an experience of my sister's where she did a great job of very quickly and efficiently vetting someone out of her dating pool because, well, he was full of shit. Let's have a little story time. My sister met a guy who we will call Craig, as in, you ain't got to lie, Craig, you ain't got to lie. This fella claimed that he had his own real estate company, owned a couple of luxury cars, and knew a couple of C-list celebrities. A very summarized version of this story is that I think she only met up with this guy maybe twice in meeting him. Just a very short-lived, like literally a couple of days type of thing, because she was very clearly able to spot all of his BS. So besides those previous claims that I just mentioned, pretty much when she met up with this guy, like again, like he was like, I don't know, he promoted events or something like that. So it was at like a club or a bar or something. She's there and he's there with his entourage and people in his life, I don't know, cousins, friends, whomever. And at one point she sees his phone. He has it placed where people can easily see it. And when the phone rings, a certain famous boxer's name shows up on the screen. And the guy picks up the phone and starts having some vague conversation with this other person on the other line. So that was interesting. She's like, okay, all right, we have celebrity names popping up on the phone. Great. And then there were other times where he made it a point to name some of the cars he had, like I guess in casual conversation. I don't remember the names of the cars. But the point is that these were cars that a lot of people, particularly men on the dating scene, would be proud to own and proud to show off in some way. Not just talk about it, but be about it. And in the couple of times that she met him, she never saw these cars. She never saw a key fob to indicate that these cars were in his possession. There was one point where he claimed he parked his car in a different area and walked to where she was. No. Highly unlikely that he actually had possession of these cars, let alone if you even see it physically in his presence, if he actually owns the cars or not. That's a whole other thing. But the point is like these are like simple, basic things that you would expect to see proof of in your early dating experience with someone who is making it a point to share with you that they have these things. He claimed to have a commercial real estate business, but had no social media footprint. Couldn't point her towards a website. So now we have someone who in this day and age, who isn't 65 years old, who has no social media footprint whatsoever, and in particular, a business owner who has no website or social media footprint. Run. And I want to be clear, it's not that you need to be all out there and open with social media. I have a personal social media account that I only allow access to friends and family, people who I actually know. So anytime I'm talking to someone who I might potentially date and they ask me for my social media account, they get the business account because you're not my friend or family, I don't know you, and I personally don't want you to have access to my social media. So this is not me saying that you need to have a social media footprint that is public for everyone to see. It's just a bit odd that you don't have one at all. Hey, just a moment. I want to talk about my email list and why you should join it. If you join my email list, you will get weekly guidance on breakup recovery and dating, and you will get access to the various freebies that I offer around these things. But also, I will soon be launching my Bitter to Better breakup recovery program, and by joining my email list, you will get all the information you need about that. You will also be able to join the wait list for Bitter to Better just in case you're interested in making sure that I give you the information you need to be a part of the program once it launches. I know there are other details to this story that I'm not currently remembering, but you get the gist. He was clearly full of crap, and she was quickly able to determine that, which great, good for her. But this just serves as a little real life example of the type of things I'm talking about when you are considering moving someone from a stranger in your life to a casual dating partner. If these things or if these types of things aren't matching up from the beginning, Stop wasting your time. Please run. Don't walk, don't like think about it. Just go and save yourself the frustration. The frustration that tends to come about for people in the dating scene, that after they've experienced it over and over again and they've given too much time and energy to someone who is full of crap, this frustration that turns into like bitterness and being jaded and being very frustrated with the dating process. The reality is that as much as you would like it to be the case, everyone you meet is not going to be for you, whether because they're a liar, they don't have the same dating goals as you, or they don't have the same values and philosophies on life as you. Okay, there are about 7 billion people in this world. They ain't all going to be for you. And it's best that you determine that as quickly as possible rather than just getting frustrated because you are choosing not to properly vet people. So let's go down the list of a few things to kind of be wary of when vetting somebody from stranger to casual partner. First, doing too much too fast. Some people would refer to this as love bombing if this person is being very excessive in their affection and their emotions for you early on, buying you a bunch of gifts, things like that. And I want to be clear that any of these things in isolation aren't necessarily a bad sign. There are some people who are interested in treating you to things early on, and that's just how they roll. But I will say that anyone who's saying that they want to be in a relationship with you, marry you, feel like they need you in another life when they're literally just meeting you is someone to be very wary of. Because think about it. Why would somebody determine that they want you to have these lifelong commitments with you when they don't even know who you are as a person? You could be an asshole. So it's very concerning when somebody wants to express these things so early on, because it means one of two things. They are lying to you and saying to you what they think you want to hear, or they don't know what they want themselves. Either situation is a bad deal. What is more likely true in this situation is that this person is attracted to you, they are having a good time with you, and they want to experience more. So what they should say is, I'd really like to continue getting to know you and have more experiences with you to determine if this is a good fit. And to that, you can say, cool, let's try this out and see how it goes. But if somebody is just coming right out the gates and saying all of this very commitment-oriented, long-term type of stuff when they literally don't know you, that is not a good sign. You don't want to risk emotionally investing in someone who is lying about their desires to commit to you, or someone who is making the mistake of assuming that being attracted to someone and having a good time with them is the recipe for a healthy, committed, lifelong relationship. It is the foundation of it, but by no means does it a healthy, lifelong relationship make. And you can see the stay or leave and the breakup plan videos on my channel for a little more information on these things. Speaking of too much too soon, and speaking of seeing proof of the things the person says they have, be a little wary of the person who claims they're gonna give you money, again, early on in knowing you. In this case with the guy, Craig, he offered to cash out my sister money for her troubles in terms of, her transportation and things like that. And she's like, okay, cool, whatever. And of course, never did. If someone makes a claim like that to you early upon meeting you and then doesn't follow through on it, you have no foundation here of this person, of knowing this person. So at that point, you can assume, well, they don't follow through on the things they say they're going to do. And while we're having the money conversation, just a side note, don't get Tinder swindlered or any of that good stuff. If somebody starts asking you for money early on and things like that, no. Tell them no. Don't do any of that. Next, let's talk about checking the credentials. If someone claims to be a business owner, like I mentioned before, is there a website? Is it a profession in which you have to be certified or licensed? Because that is public information that you can look up. Also checking, legal records, any, court cases, divorce cases, anything like that, just to get background information on someone based on their claims. If they said they've never been married or they have been married or any of that sort of stuff, you do have options of finding this information on the internet with very little effort because it's public record. So never forget that option. I guess I should rewind this completely, because the first rule is to always Google. Okay, Google the people. Google the people with whatever information you have. So obviously you may not be able to Google everyone upon first meeting them because you may not have their last name. But I always go with the fact that any information you have on somebody upon deciding to first meet them, it is fine to type it into the good old Google. All right? Don't bypass that step. You can watch a previous video on my channel about my little incident years ago of not doing that and how that came to be a very interesting situation. So let's just do a quick rundown of things that someone may potentially lie about early on, which are also things that they may potentially tell the truth about, and you hope that most people that people are telling the truth, but just to kind of get a rundown. So obviously, if anyone's lying about things like their name, their age, that can be a big one. Whether they have kids or not, whether they've ever been married, whether they're currently going through a divorce or not. Some people may say they are going through a divorce or are divorced and they're not actually divorced yet, you know, things like that. They may lie about some of their assets, meaning like where they live or the cars they drive or the money they have, their career, just things to kind of just have a general sense of, and noticing that if you see any discrepancies in these things early on in starting to date someone, it's likely not worth it, because at this point they are a stranger to you. So you got nothing to lose, and you have no investment besides some of the time and energy you've given them. And you want to be careful not to give them any more time or energy. If someone lies to me about their age, we have nothing else to talk about. That is weird. And I understand various reasons why someone might do it, but that doesn't discount the fact that it's just not okay. And that is like a foundation of lies around some really basic stuff. I'm not gonna feel secure moving on with you in any way if you're gonna lie about some very basic things like that. It can show signs of someone who's a manipulator or who's controlling. It's a problem. And it takes away, just a little side note here, this idea of consent. And what I mean is, there are guys who will lie about their age to make themselves older, so to attract older women and be able to have experiences with, oftentimes sexual experiences with older women. And when I say older women, I mean like the guy might be 18 and he's saying he's 20 something and he wants to meet a 20 something woman or something like that. And then you have a relationship with this person, maybe a sexual relationship, and you've done this under false pretenses. That is creepy, and stop doing that for those of you who do. But if I find out somebody's lying about something like that, nah, I'm vetting you out. We're done. Okay, that was part 1 of vetting your dating partners, determining if someone should move from a stranger in your life to a casual dating partner. Wish you the best. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click the link to join my email list. See you soon.